What's up, everybody? Bootsy Greenwood here, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the difference between inner and outer intention today. I had a couple of requests for this, and I've been out of the country and I have been away and absent from making these videos, and it's been really helpful for me because I've been able to really explore these concepts and test them out in a foreign land, which is a pretty amazing opportunity. And I've gotten some glimpses into some more nuances of these topics, and it's been really, really amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about inner and outer intention today. And first of all, let me just start by saying intention, right? What does he say in the book? Vadim says, I do not hope, I do not wish, I intend. It's like moving your finger is the example he gives, right? Like, do you have to think about moving your finger? Do you have to say, oh, okay, body, brain, tell the arm to tell the hand to move the finger, right? No. Do you have to hope that your finger will move? No. It's, you need to pick something up, your finger moves, it picks it up. That's what intention is. So it's very hard to define because it's such an automatic response. Now, I have a good friend who I've just seen, he blew me away. He's just like intention in action. He's a fighter. So he really understands the power of intention. And it's not something that can be communicated super duper well. But intention, we want to think of as desire in action. But when we really get to the bottom of it and divide these concepts up, inner intention is basically the desire itself, okay? And outer intention is the world accommodating that desire. So there's a lot of ways to think about this, but first and foremost, most self-help is doing this. They're doing inner intention, right? And this is forcing the world, it's forcing the outer world, right? Like it's saying, hey, outer world, I want to make you do something. It's coercive. And it's all about making the third dimension, like I'm going to put this thing here, I'm going to do that there, and da 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 da. And what happens a lot of times is we try and manipulate our outer world when we're coming from a place of inner intention because we want this thing to work out so bad, but again, it's like picking up water. It's like trying to force something that you cannot force. It just can't happen that way. Whereas outer intention comes from the inside and affects the outside. So thinking about it like this. So if I want my world to reflect something, I need to first create that within myself. Okay, so inner intention might be me deciding that I want a certain thing and having this strategy and this plan to go about it, and I'm going to call so-and-so and I'm going to do this, and then maybe I'm going to bug their agent to try to get them on my podcast or something like that, and I'm just going to annoy them until finally they don't want anything to do with me. They're like, dude, screw this guy. He's annoying. He's coming at me with tons of inner intention and trying to force the world to do something from the inside out, right? Or from the outside in. And what we want to do is the opposite approach, from the inside out, right? We want to focus on what's going on within us. We want to change that, focus on that, reflect and project to the world exactly what we want, and it will reflect back to us exactly what that intention was. So instead of us trying to figure out all these different, scenarios, right? Like this is going to lead to this and this is going to happen. No, we leave that up to the world. Outer intention takes care of that for us. Outer intention is really from the inside out. It's projecting exactly what we want and allowing the world to form the situation as it needs to go for the proper flow of variations for us to get to our goal with the least amount of effort, just like how nature works. If I want somebody on my podcast and they are an expert in a field, right? And they're like, hey, so maybe I send them an email and I say, hey, listen, you're an expert in this. I really dug this, blah, 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 blah. And I give them an example of what they've done and how it's worked for me and how it's helped me and genuinely thank them. And then maybe I make the request of, hey, would you mind coming on my podcast? Would love to have you on the show. And leave it at that, right? I'm very much more likely to get a positive response in that case than the other. And really what I'm talking about here is more like frailing than outer intention. Outer intention is really the macro version of frailing. but it's always about giving first. So when we give to our world, when we ask the world, what do we need? Okay, let's say that I want to start a podcast, okay? And that's me. And I'm like, well, I want to start a podcast. And I'm going to start this podcast and I'm going to make it about me. And I'm going to make it about my comedy and my life and stuff. Okay, that's great. Maybe I start that podcast, maybe I get 100 subscribers. Who knows? But if I say, what does the world need? Okay, the world needs to learn about transurfing. So, outer intention, I'm asking the world what it needs. And now I can start a podcast about transurfing, and then my needs are fulfilled because I'm fulfilling the needs of the world. So instead of fighting for our place under the sun, here's the thing, man. You cannot force love. Love is voluntary. And love is giving. It's not something that you can take from someone else. It's not something that you can force upon or thrust upon another human being or a set of human beings. You can't force love. It's an oxymoron. It just doesn't make sense. It's something that comes from the inside, and you beam that out and you say, world, what can I do for you? What do you need? And then you take your skills, whatever it is that you're good at, and you apply that to what the world needs. And then that is when you will see the huge, absolute massive results of what you're trying to accomplish. A lot of people in business get this backwards. And I've talked about this on Transurf and Chill with Renee, but people get this backwards a lot. They are like, well, I want to start a business and I want to make it about art. I want to make cool art. Okay, that's great. Fantastic. Use your skill set to create great art. But ask the market or the world, what kind of art does it want? Okay, take a stock of that or whatever, and then pick out one of those and say, oh, I can make some of this. And for me in the podcast example, it's like, well, if I make this transurfing podcast and help the world out and give it what it needs, because the world definitely needs to understand these concepts, then that gives me the freedom on the back end to create my thing, whatever that is, if that's a podcast about me and how much I love myself or whatever, right? So intention. Intention is very difficult to explain. Pure intention is something that we only see every so often, but it's very, very powerful. And you will see reality bend around someone who has a very strong and pure intention, especially if it's asking the world what it wants and going towards that. Now the world brings what you want while you go to it, and you meet in the middle and you find this beautiful compromise that's loving and romantic and awesome between you and your world, because as we are projecting, the world is reflecting. Everything we project out, the world reflects back to us. So when we're trying to desire and force something, we realize, oh shit, that is not what I need to be doing. That's not gonna give me the results that I want. I need to ask the world, I need to ask the person what I can do for them first, and that's gonna allow me to step in and give my gift to the world in whatever form or fashion that is. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Be sure to check out International Transurfing Institute on Facebook. It's amazing, it's awesome, it's changing my life and many others, I believe. It's a really awesome way for us to get together and talk about all these concepts, help each other, love on one another, and share oh so very much. So thank you guys for watching the video, really appreciate it. Also, follow me on Patreon, follow me on Gumroad, follow me on Venmo, follow me on PayPal. I'm kidding, but follow me on Gumroad. There's some free stuff there. Follow me on Patreon. There's some free stuff there as well. At Bootsy Greenwood on Instagram. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate all the love and comments. And come on over into the Facebook group. You will be glad you did. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.